Now, this is interesting, Robbie. 3 stills. I bet you that, you know, this idea of Glengoyne being a lowland distillery, you know how triple distillation was common in the lowlands?
Yeah.
And Bernard, when he came here in about 1885, remarked on there being 3 stills, and I bet you he just took one look at them and thought, lowland style.
Yeah.
But why have you got 3 stills?
Some we've always had. We've always had 3 stills. You know, why do others have 4 when 3 would do? You know, it's a balanced system. We've got one big wash still, and the faint and low wines is then just divided into 2, which is about 3,750 litres into each one of these wee dinky stills, and it works perfectly fine. This runs for 7 hours. These 2 run for 7 hours as well. And it just goes round and round, and the spirit's always the same quality. It's always about 70% alcohol, and it's a nicely balanced system. It's as good as any I've seen with 2 of each. I've never seen it before.
Is it more difficult to run? I mean, presumably, for example, do you charge the wash still? Come, show me your wash still.
This is a wash still.
So presumably you charge 1 wash back per charge of wash still.
No, that would be too simple. We like to make things as complicated as possible at Glengoyne. We put 2/3 of a wash back into the wash still. But it's still a balanced system. 2 wash backs, gives us 3 distillations. So we get 3 runs of a wash still and 3 runs of the spirit stills from 2 wash backs. Nicely balanced, nice and smoothing off all the way along the line.
And again, that's just always the way
it's always been the way.
Yeah.
Always been the way.
And how does the boy know, how does your stillman know when he's got the right, what are you filling, 3,000 litres you say?
No, about 12,500 litres into the wash still. Back in 1890 we invested in some automation, and I'll show you the automation. I'll go downstairs. So as I said, 1890 we introduced this piece of modern automation, which is called a cat and a mouse, and we take 50 inches out of this, and once this is risen by 50 inches we know to stop charging the still. Very technical piece of kit.
And so presumably that measures the level of the liquid in the wash charger.
Yeah, and we just remove that from there. We've had to replace the string 3 times in the last 110 years, so it's quite an expensive piece of machinery, this. Very high tech.
So from a 12,500 litre charge in your wash still, you will retain how much in the way of low wines?
About 40%.
About 40%.
We keep 40%, and the other 60% is pot ale, and that's taken by a local farmer, and he spreads it onto fields around the distillery as fertiliser.
Yeah. And the strength of the low wines?
It's about 20%.
Right, and then that's mixed with the foreshots and feints and charged into your 2 spirit stills.
That's right.
Yep, and the strength then is about mid-20s?
It takes about 26% alcohol.
Yeah. How long do you run your foreshots for?
5 minutes.
Ah, quite quick.
Very,
so
very
you're
quick.
collecting a lot of the estuary.
Yeah, we're collecting the lighter stuff.
Yeah.
And just by altering that by a few minutes loses the profile of Glengoyne. So again, it's something we've done for years and years. We found that cutting in 5 minutes, it's clear. It's absolutely crystalline clear.
And how do you account for that? Because some people have to run foreshots for much longer than that.
I've worked at distilleries 30 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes before
it'll clear.
Because they're going for a cleaner spirit. They may be going for some of this light, clean perfume. So they don't want some of the congeners at the start, some of the fruitier congeners that we're looking at. Some of the spicier things that may come through as well.
Yeah.
We're looking for. So we capture them very early. But we do cut out earlier as well from spirit onto the feints.
Yeah.
So we come in early and cut out early.
One thing I notice is that the spirit's running very slowly because you're collecting spirit now. That's part of the design as well.
It's painfully slow. Of all the distilleries I've worked at, I've never known a distillery to distill off as slow as Glengoyne. We have a rate of 14 litres per minute for your wash still. So we even measure the flow rate for the wash, and the spirits are even slow. It's 5 litres per minute.
5 litres a minute.
Yeah. And these guys will keep an eye on that. The operator, on pains of death, he will not go any faster, he will not go any slower when he's on spirit. He's monitoring that for the 3 hours. And at that rate, we'll always know the Glengoyne character goes over the neck of the still. If you go any harder, you take another unwanted flavours and congeners over the neck of the still. Not as hard, you're losing things. 5 litres is what we're looking for all the time.
So you're getting an optimum reflux for Glengoyne.
That's exactly what we're getting, the maximum. And when you look at the stills, you've got this bowl effect at the bottom. That's to give you a maximum reflux, maximum copper content.
Yeah.
It takes away anything we don't want from the fermentation. The sulfury, some of the heavier compounds that we don't want, that other distilleries need, but we don't need them because we're Glengoyne, that removes them. That 5 litres a minute ensures exactly what goes over the neck of that still is exactly what we're looking for all the time. Again, we've been doing that for decades at this rate.
So it's not only the size and shape of the still, it's how you run them that makes a crucial difference.
It's all very important, from that first seed, from the golden promise, all the way through the way we grind it, the way we mash it, the fermentation minimum of 54 hours, the type of yeast, the way these guys distill it, just gently nursing it over there, really nursing it over. It all adds to the final product of Glengoyne.
Yeah.
Change any one of those steps and you could have something else. But we don't want something else because that already exists elsewhere.
Yeah.
We want Glengoyne.
Yeah. So you could, if you could change it if you wanted to.
You can play a lot of different tunes on a distillery very easily. Change that from 5 minutes to 10 minutes before you cut on. You've changed the tune to something different.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why you've always got to have your finger on the button all the time.
Yeah. Right, lead on and let's have a dram.
Let's have a dram.
And I mean that.
I mean that.